Good afternoon, my RNM Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for October 21, 2023. And in the news this afternoon, 5 people in custody after gun and ammo seizure in St. Elizabeth. 5 people were taken into custody after police officers assigned to the St. Elizabeth Police Division seized a Smith & Wesson .357 Magnum revolver along with 6.38 rounds of ammunition along the New Holland Main Road in the parish on Friday, October 20. Their identities are being withheld pending further investigations. Reports from the Black River Police are that about 11:55 p.m., lawmen were conducting patrol in the area when a vehicle was signaled to stop. A search was conducted of the vehicle and its occupants. During the search, the firearm and ammunition was found inside the trunk of the motor car. 2 in custody after ganja seizure in St. Anne. Lawmen assigned to Air 2 narcotics team seized over 200 pounds of compressed ganja during a targeted operation in Bel Air 2 Runaway Bay, St. Anne on Thursday. 2 men are in custody in connection with the find. Reports from the St. Anne police are that between 10:45 p.m. and 11:25 p.m., police acting on information went to a location in the community. A premises was breached and searched, and several men, upon seeing the police, allegedly flee the area, leaving the contraband behind. The drug was seized pending further investigations. Stolen bulls recovered by St. Elizabeth lawmen. Swift action by the police, aided by citizens of Malvern, St. Elizabeth, led to the recovery of 2 brown bulls which were stolen on October 11. The owner reportedly fed the animals earlier in the day and left the area. However, about 7:45 p.m., citizens observed a black Toyota which parked on a section of the roadway, and the men were observed loading the animals into the vehicle. The lawmen were contacted and the vehicular checkpoints set up at several major corridors. The bulls were later recovered on the Retrieve Main Road. The culprits, however, escaped, the police said. The police have commended the citizens who reported the matter early, which aided in the swift recovery of the animals. Blacks are charged after allegedly breaking into supermarket in St. Elizabeth. The St. Elizabeth police have charged a man from St. Elizabeth for larceny and housebreaking after he allegedly broke into a supermarket on October 15. Charged is Dwayne Atkinson, otherwise called the Blacks, a 29-year-old construction worker of Newtown, Black River in the parish. Reports are that about 2 a.m., surveillance cameras picked up 4 men seen in the vicinity of a popular supermarket in Black River. The police patrol team was alerted and traveled to the location. Upon the arrival of the lawmen, the men fled the scene. The police gave chase and 1 man was held. The items recovered were identified by the owner, and the lawmen later inspected the establishment and realized that entry was gained through a window. Atkinson was subsequently taken into custody, where he was charged. His court date is being finalized. The other culprits are still being pursued by the Black River Police. Utilize health centers, Ministry of Health and Wellness urges. The Ministry of Health and Wellness is urging Jamaicans to visit their health centers as all major hospitals are overcrowded and seeing longer wait times. The ministry says the surge in patients is attributable to the current dengue outbreak, the start of the flu season, and traumatic injuries. At present, there are more than 150 dengue-related admissions at public hospitals. As at yesterday, there were more than 260 patients awaiting placement in beds across 18 public health facilities. The University Hospital of the West Indies, Spanish Town, Savannah Lamar, and the Cornwall Regional Hospitals are seeing the highest number of patients waiting for beds. Some health centers are open until 8 p.m. in accordance with the country's dengue outbreak response plan. Chang repeats shoot-to-kill advice to the police. National Security Minister Dr. Harris Chang is again encouraging members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force to shoot to kill when confronted by armed criminals. Dr. Chang says there are criminals who are shooting at police officers at the checkpoints. Against that background, he is urging police officers to use their training to defend themselves. The National Security Minister was speaking Friday at the annual LASCO Jamaica Constabulary Force Awards ceremony held in St. Andrew. Last year, Dr. Chan came under criticism by civil rights groups for making a similar statement where he urged the cops to shoot to kill. These advocacy groups were concerned as they said the statement could be interpreted as a tacit approval of extrajudicial killings. Review sentencing guidelines for firearm offenses to encourage guilty pleas, says attorneys. Defense attorneys are calling for legislators to amend the mandatory minimum sentence for firearm offenses to make guilty pleas more enticing. The call comes days after Justice Minister Delroy Chuck disclosed that there has been a reduction in the number of guilty pleas in the gun court since the introduction of the new Firearms Act and the mandatory minimum 15-year sentence. Attorneys at law Vincent Wellesley and Sanjay Smith says the reduction in guilty pleas is unsurprising given there is no plea deal incentive for the accused.
The defendant must see where he gets a benefit in terms of a reduction in his sentence. And so, my view is that the attempt by the legislature to usurp the role of the judges, it is my view that it is wrong. It is my view that it makes no sense. It is counterproductive. It is ill-conceived and absurd. The judges were doing fine. The judges took into account the mitigating and the aggravating features of each case before they passed their sentence. Now, what happens during that time? The witnesses may get impatient, God forbid, they may fall ill, or they may even die. And so it must affect the system of justice for these matters to take so long to try. And that will be the result, because I would never advise one of my clients to give a guilty plea for having a gun in his possession, unless I'm not in my right mind.
Attorney at law Sanjay Smith, while noting that it takes less time to try a firearm case compared to, for example, murder, noted that a reduction in guilty pleas will add to the caseload and further burden the justice system.
In terms of the overall resources, for example, you apply for a forensic certificate and you're hoping and praying it comes back within 4 weeks. But really and truly, there is enough manpower to really deal with the majority or what they call the volume of cases that really and truly come through the court system. There's also, in my view, from my observation, there's a shortage of court reporters. We don't have enough to deal with the amount of cases that come through the court system. We also need, and this might sound really interesting, but we also need more prosecutors. We need more courtrooms. Just a whole heap of different things that make the court system work.
Woman vanishes at a church convention. The family of 61-year-old St. James resident Joyce Ferron is desperate for any information that might lead to her whereabouts after she went missing on National Heroes Day while on a church trip to Christiana, Manchester. Ferron, a resident of Barrett Oval in Montego Bay, was part of a group from the Faith Temple Assembly of God, also based in Montego Bay, which attended the Women's Convention in Christiana on Monday. Her sister, Nerissa Cassels, told the news that the family is especially concerned for the senior citizen's well-being, as she had suffered 2 strokes in the past year. She had a stroke over a year ago, and then she had a second stroke about a month ago, and was hospitalized. And after the second stroke, she was not the same person. She's not talking a lot, and she's not eating like she used to, Cassels said concerning her sister. She didn't tell anyone she was going on the convention trip. She saw her son on Saturday and she didn't tell him. She went on the convention trip with her church, and I understand that after lunch, that was the last time they saw her, Cassels added. It was like she walked away and continued walking, because she left her pocketbook, left everything there. She never returned. Ferron, who also goes by the name Maxine, is described as being 5 feet, 3 inches tall and about 190 pounds, with low-cut white hair. At the time of her disappearance, she was wearing a white blouse and a red skirt. Bishop Conrad Pitkin, the pastor of Faith Temple Assembly of God, told the news that Ferron had been a member of his congregation for about 10 years. She hardly misses a worship service. She is there on a Sunday morning and she will be there for women's meeting on a Monday evening. Prior to her illness, she was very active in church with the hospitality team, but in the latter part of last year, she took ill. and we noticed that mentally she has been slowing down somewhat, said Pitkin, who is also the custos for St. James. Then on Monday she went with the group to the women's convention in Cristiano. They recalled that she had lunch with them, and about 5:30 when they were ready to leave and the bus was being loaded, they realized she could not be found, and the alarm was raised at that time, Pitkin added. It is understood that security footage is currently being examined to ascertain whether reports that Ferron may have been spotted in Albertown, Trelawney are true. Anyone who may have information leading to the return of Joyce Ferron is being asked to call her sister, Nerissa Castles, at 876-324-9259, the 119 police emergency number, or the nearest police station. No shortage of chemicals used for fogging, says Tufton. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says that there is no shortage of the chemicals used for fogging communities. Fogging is taking place. I think there's a review around the fogging machines. They have to be serviced from time to time. So if there is a bottleneck at this point, as I understand, it would be maybe more machines. But it is taking place, and there is a schedule where they go into areas at particular times of evenings and mornings, he said. As Jamaica battles an outbreak of dengue fever, national epidemiologist Dr. Karen Webster Kerr said for September there were 1,409 confirmed, suspected and presumed cases of the mosquito-borne illness, while there have been 240 so far this month. The Ministry of Health and Wellness reported 434 confirmed cases of the disease as at October 17. The cases were confirmed for approximately 2,107 suspected and presumed samples. At the same time, there were 7 dengue-related deaths, 5 classified as suspected and 2 confirmed.